Okay, so today I just thought I'd discuss some interesting movements of one of my pupils. This is Andy. Andy's about 24, 25 handicapper. I've taught Andy for quite a while, probably the best part of over 12 months, definitely. And he's improved. He's definitely getting better. He feels like he's playing better, and he feels like he's been definitely improved from this point in last year. Now, Andy's bad shot is a shot that he hits excessively right. He kind of loses it a long way right, push, slice, huge amount of spin, definitely around 1400, 1500 side spin to the right on the GC2 he can get. Um, and obviously, the point in this video is just to simply show you how he manages to do that and to kill some of the notions that some people have placed around the grip and what can happen during the swing and influence the shot. So you can tell Andy's somebody that I've taught for a while because you can see how dominant his hands are at address. He's definitely got a very strong grip. Okay, but he's got a very strong grip, but he still manages to slice the ball off to the right or push, slice the ball off to the right. So how does he do that? I'm not saying that his backswing is absolutely perfect, not by any stretch of the imagination, but how he manages to do that is when we get him up to the top of the swing, and especially if I zoom in on his wrist joints here, you'll actually see the point at which his wrist goes the wrong way. So at the top of the swing here, we need the left wrist to stay flat. Because of where I've got his grip, I definitely need that left wrist joint to stay flat. If he cups that joint, if he actually cups the joint, arches the knuckles back towards his forearm, the top of his forearm, then he will open the club face. Regardless of where his grip is, if he moves his hands in that manner, if he starts to extend or cup his left wrist at the top, he will open the club face. And if I just roll this backwards and forwards, you can see pretty much the point at which where his knuckles become more visible to us. You can see the club face go from this slightly hooded position here into a position that just completely changes on the way down. If you watch how it goes back, if you look at it here, it looks like it's facing this way towards the wall. When he changes direction, he comes down. You can see the club face is pretty much completely changed now. It looks like it's facing the camera. This now means the club face is open. He's got his left wrist cut back, extended. And what that does down here is it means he's going to have to add some closing movements. So as we come down, you'll see him release his lag early. What he then starts to do is to start to flip and roll the club face round, gives him this quite awkward looking chicken wing, they call it, position here, where he's trying to really scoop the face round in order to close it. So even though he sets off with this strong grip, through the incorrect movements of the wrists at the top of the swing and into the transition and downswing, he manages to open the club face, which means he's then got to try and close it at the bottom here in order to try and hit the ball straight. So bad shots, like I say, timing the face round would be push slices off to the right. If he gets his hands rolling and flipping really quickly, he could hook it. And he also could hit it straight doing this. You know, it's just timed. It's not wrong. It's timed. And obviously, if you're comparing that to the best hitters on tour, this is generally not how they release it. They have a club face that stays closed, is closed prior to impact, and they then simply drive it forward and hold it. So if I go to the one on the right, this was Andy trying to hold his left wrist in a flatter position, in a flex position. So instead of cupping it backwards, like you can see here, you can just see if I run this forward and backwards where it twists the wrong way. In this one, you can see he manages to hold the left wrist. It doesn't really cup backwards or extend. It stays relatively flat. And you can now see the huge difference in the club face. So as I start pulling these two down, you can see the huge differences here in the club face. The one on the right is much more closed, in my opinion. It's more squarer. And because it's squarer, you can see how it affects his downswing. So as I pull him down here now, you can see he would hold more lag. Left delivery position now looks absolutely great. Because his club face isn't open and he isn't going to lose it to the right, he has no need to try and close it early, to lose lag and to extend his arms and to try and flip the club face round. He has no need to make those movements because he hasn't opened it. So because he hasn't opened it, he can just simply drive his arms further forward, and this impact looks so much more tidier than the one on the left. He looks more like an elite hitter of the ball. He looks more like a top level touring professional, and even visually just looks so much better than the one on the left. Now, me and Andy have been discussing this left wrist flexion, left forearm supination, these closing club face movements on the downswing for, probably for most of summer. He can't do this subconsciously yet. He's still taking a lot of effort consciously. I won't say go out on a golf course and he can do this and it looks good. Because those movements are really difficult, especially when you have a full-time job like Andy does and he doesn't get much time to practice. These movements take time to learn, and anybody that tells you different is lying. These movements are what separate average tour players from great tour players, and will be seen in all the legends of the game. So these movements are not easy to learn. They're not super quick to learn. They do take a bit of time, but hopefully you can see just from this video how getting that left wrist to flatten out and to not be cooked completely changes his pattern in the downswing, and more importantly, completely kills the notion that having a strong grip makes you hook the ball. Anybody who tells you that really is teaching off a theory that was produced long before we had cameras to see what was going on at impact.